Hello, Butler 1199. My name is Dan, and I am the delegate from BH Call Intake. And this is another commentary video on bargaining session, which I have just returned from. Just a disclaimer, this is not an official 1199 communication. This is my thoughts and opinions, and it is certainly not a replacement for talking to your delegate. There's a lot going on, and you should stay informed by talking to your delegate. Things can change very quickly, especially at this stage. So, what do I mean by all that? Well, today was a pretty exciting day at bargaining session, and there's a lot to cover. I apologize if this one gets a little bit meandering. There's a lot of thoughts that are to be had about what happened today. So we'll start off simple with the beginning of the day. We spent the first half of the day caucusing ourselves, which we let them know was going to be the case. Um, and this was in order to, get us all on the same page, really look over our proposal, and make sure that it's in a state that people would be, proud to go out and fight for. Um, like shaving off a little bit of fat, which is the nature of the thing. We do have to keep moving a little bit. And it's I believe Mary sent out some nasty threat email in which she accused us of not being prepared. Well, unlike them and their, email jobs that they work, there's 34 of us delegates. Murph and Jesse will not make a decision unless we're there to vote on it, because what we have is a democratic system, whereas, they just sort of like send an email to the board, and the board sends an email back saying crush the workers or whatever they tell each other. you know so yeah, so it would actually be, it would be a lot easier. We wouldn't have to spend so much time doing this had they continued the practice that they had done forever, which was get coverage for delegates. We would be able to caucus a lot easier. We would be able to attend more bargaining sessions. um, they did this on purpose because they don't want you to have your delegates there in bargaining. They they just kind of want to do like a little back and forth with with a few people, and get this done with. But that's not what we do. We're a democratic organization. We believe in democracy. Your delegates were elected by you because you trust them to represent you, and that's what we have to do. We have to represent you. You can't go without representation. That's not good. So um, so that's what we did today. We did some votes and moved things along, and then in the second half, we invited them down and went over what we consolidated into a package offer. They denied they denied the package. They said it's unrealistic. This is a word they keep using. In Mary's threat email, they also used this word, unrealistic. Um, that's interesting, considering that this is already real, right? We are borrowing structures from women and infants, right? We're borrowing numbers from women and infants. We are borrowing numbers from other hospitals as well. We are moving people up to the very realistic wages that everyone else gets, and then asking for a raise. Um, it's all real. They already pay it to their own employees that are just down the street. So, it's not unrealistic. It's highly realistic. Uh, what's unrealistic is the idea that, you know, in 4 years, their offer to move somebody who's making like $16 an hour to $19 an hour, that person would still be able to keep up with the economy in any meaningful way and not have to apply for like welfare and food stamps. That's unrealistic to me, that someone would accept that, because that's realistically what they're offering. So, um, so yeah, so they spent most of the session chiding us for being loud. we had invited members in. It was very nice to have, some new faces, come, well, not new faces, but our friendly faces come to the session and witness them. So they were on a little bit better behavior, which was nice to see. That with the membership there, they weren't quite as um, you know, insane as usual. But they still took some time to chide us for calling them names. I don't think we actually called them names. I think we used a couple of curse words, but I don't know. It was just like about other stuff. And it's that's their priority because it's a breach if we use like maybe a naughty word or two. It's not a breach when they when they force us to have to fight over literally everything, right? We have to fight over trying to get them to do market surveys. We have to fight over trying to get them to give us the ARPA money that they stole, right? They don't consider that impolite, right? They don't consider that a, an egregious behavior. It's only using naughty words. Um, and I think that became pretty clear to everyone who was witness to it. So at the end of the day, without coming to any satisfying agreement, we did hand in the strike notice. Shout out to Virgil Soares for physically handing in the strike notice. And we have set a strike date of May 15th at 6 a.m. And that is this is a deadline, right? In Mary's threat email, she talked about that they are doing everything they can to avoid a strike and that we are being I don't know, egregious and aggressive. Well, were they doing everything they could to avoid a strike when they forced us to eat all that inflation? Were they doing everything they can to avoid a strike by stealing the ARPA money? Were they doing everything they can to avoid a strike by refusing to find coverage for delegates so they could attend bargaining sessions? Right? But, um, this is the power that we have. They've certainly exercised their power as much as possible to make things worse, you know? And so, yeah, we're exercising our power to force them to do the right thing, right? Nobody wanted to have to do this. We we used to have a great relationship. We remember those days, and they could easily end this negotiation by, giving us what we deserve, or coming very, very close to it. Not saying, you know, we'll we'll give you some wages, but we're cutting your other benefits. Take what you can get, pigs, right? And because that's the sentiment. And we even during the session, we asked them, "Are you able to afford wage increases without cutting benefits?" And they said, "Yes, that's not a problem that they're having. That's not their problem with this." Which begs the question, well, then why can't you just not cut our benefits? Right? At no point during any of this have they said that they can't afford it, that they don't have the money. They just are saying this is what we would like. This we would like to align with the market. Um, right? They have money. We all know it. We all know it. They've been making hand over fist. Inpatients stacked every day, outpatients stacked every day. This is nothing new. I've covered this in some other videos. And so yeah, I mean, this is the time. This is how this is gonna go because they want to play very, very silly games with our lives. So where are we now? We are awaiting a strike, right? May 15th, so even longer than a 10-day notice. Part of this is due to the fact that we are unfortunately bargaining in good faith, that we are the good guys, and that we can't just, you know, kick sand in their teeth. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be May 15th. A little bit of extra time for them to figure it out. Um, it also means, that I believe our last paycheck would actually be a week into the strike because of the way payroll works. So, you know, there's some strategy somewhere in there. And yeah, so what do we need to do? What do we need to do is the same thing that we've done every day for most of our lives, which is have each other's backs. We can only do this together. We can only do this standing shoulder to shoulder and really coming together to show them that we aren't going to be pushed into the dirt anymore. We're not going to be the patsy for them, so that way they can have, you know, massive profits that they turn into bonuses for themselves. This is not how we're going to operate. That money is coming back in to keep our staff here so they don't have to go either work 3 other jobs or just leave, right? And yeah, they're going to do everything they can, as shown by this email that they've sent out, to try and tear us apart, get you scared, right? They've got their 4 things to know about a strike, and one of them is like, well, a bunch of that money is going to get spent on scabs. 100% correct. 100% correct that that money will be gone because it will go into scabs' pockets. They could have put it into our pockets. They can clearly afford to, right? This is the absurd nature of the relationship at this time, is that they would rather lose money. They've made it clear they would rather lose money to decrease your power, to break your union, your union that you are a member of, that you have voting power in. And they say it in there that you deserve representation, and you have it. You have a delegate, you have your own voice, and they want that broken. They want us to tear each other apart, and we can't let them. About 100 years ago, you know, men and women in this country fought for a better future, and many of them died. Um, they weren't soldiers; they were workers trying to organize unions. And the boss, reacted by hiring mercenaries, right? Paying craploads of money to men to kill these organizers on their doorsteps in front of their families, right? This is this is a time-honored tradition from management, is attempting to break solidarity, to break worker cooperation, because it scares the crap out of them. Now, luckily, because of that work that those men and women did and died for, we have a significantly less violent society. We have the legal right to strike where they did not. And we have 40-hour work weeks. We have, weekends, holidays, safety standards, right? The reason why there's exit signs on every door is because of worker struggle, you know. And there comes a time where, you have to build for the future. They didn't do all that just for, themselves. They did it for us who are here now. And we have to also think about the future. Yeah, we need to get, you know, the money that we need for us now, but we also need to build a strong union for the future together. One that will withstand the increasing monopolization within the healthcare market and whatever the heck else is happening in the world, right? This power is significant, and with it comes a significant responsibility to build something that will make the world a better place. Maybe that's a little bit, grandiose or idealistic, but it is true. We all seen it. We saw it last Monday when we were out there together, hundreds of us all day. We saw it when we voted 91% to approve a strike together. We are extremely powerful, and we need to use that to make things better for ourselves and for those who will come after us. And I am just I am just so proud of this workforce. You know, I've worked here since I was a teenager. You are all my family. And I could not be more proud to be your brother. So, let's stand strong, Butler. And whatever they've got for us, whatever sort of crap they're going to send our way via email, we have to look each other in the eyes and say, I've got your back, you've got my back. Let's win this thing. Let's go, Butler.